Yeah, thank you all so much for coming today. So today what I'm going to review is leading the company through Christ. And I've got this little cheesy 4-stick graph up here that'll kind of be the foundation for what we're going to go through. And so I'm going to walk you through this multiple times during the hour that we have together. Before I do that, let me tell you a little bit about who this is standing up here, because I don't recognize many of you here in this crowd. My wife has snuck in the back, so if you hear any heckling, you'll know where that's coming from. So with regards to me, I'm up here really from 3 different perspectives. First off, I'm up here as a practitioner. I'm not the expert. I am not the expert. I spent 43 years in business. I had a lot of do-overs, decisions that I made that didn't quite turn out as I had planned. I like to think I learned from a lot of those, and yet there's some of those that I needed multiple times to learn, slow learner. So I'm up here as a practitioner. Secondly, in terms of a leader, in my 43 years in business, I would say the majority of those, I was not a leader, I was a manager. I focused on the figures. I did not focus on the faces. Much more about the intellect than about the heart. Made a lot of decisions which hurt people. Closed a lot of plants, laid a lot of people off, but I was very good with the numbers. I mean, really good. And so I got promoted, I got rewarded, I got incentivized. So it was feeding my addiction. I got to the point to where I couldn't look myself in the mirror. I just didn't like who I had become. And so about, 10, 12 years ago, when I could no longer really look myself in the mirror, I decided I was going to switch over to be a leader. More heart first, then head, then hands. The last perspective is my faith journey. Incidentally, those kind of happened about the same time. Okay, so my faith journey, I guess technically I'm a Catholic. Jiminy Christmas, I could show up at Mass and I know that pastor would have no idea who I am, because I didn't show up there very often. Okay, so it was more by title versus actual action. Okay, and I didn't pray, never read the Bible. And so about 10 years ago, how many folks here have business lunches? Right? Yeah, sure. So I'd have these business lunches, maybe a couple times a month. 5 times in a row during a business lunch, someone would share their faith with me. I didn't ask about it, wasn't solicited, and they would share it. It's like, this is kind of weird, 5 times in a row. So I'm thinking, someone's trying to reach me. So I got really curious. I started reading books. I joined a Bible study. First one ever. Hadn't read the Bible. We didn't read the Bible. We used another structure. I really believe, I didn't think about it then, but in hindsight, I believe that if we would have started reading the Bible, I'd have ran. It's like, no, I got places I got to be, right? But what we talked about was the application of biblical principles. And since I was a practitioner, it's like, this is really cool. And so that was how my journey started. I would say today, where am I? I would use the analogy of school. I'm in elementary school, okay? A couple of years ago, I was in kindergarten, so I'm making progress, all right? Maybe last year I might have been in 2nd or 3rd grade. Maybe now I'm in 4th or 5th. There's lots of days I want to do over. Okay, but I keep climbing back to the path because this is the best journey that I've been on, and I don't want to stop. But I got to tell you, as I say, there's certain days that for me are really, really challenging. So, with that as my background, what we're going to talk about today is this journey, and so here's this little chart up here, and it starts with the Christian business leader. And the spirit of this chart is these 4 sticks are related. Starts with the Christian business leader. So you have deep faith and you have the business acumen. As that person climbs, his or her climbs, they will pull up the second stick. The second stick's the team. Okay? The team will not outrun the leader. The team will not outrun the leader. So as that first stick climbs, it pulls up the second stick. As the second stick climbs, it'll pull up the processes and the structures. So we talk about processes and structures. What the heck is that, Tom? So in a business, you have kind of some fundamental processes. You'll have things like the hiring process, evaluation process. You may have a sales process. You may have a new product development process. Okay? So as those first two sticks climb, they will increase the fidelity of the third. And as the third climbs, then gosh, you start having sustainable kingdom success. And so what I'm going to talk to you about today is how does this work? Well, first and foremost, it goes left to right. It goes left to right. It doesn't go kingdom success back. Okay, it starts with the Christian business leader and then goes to the right. All right, so this is what we're going to talk about today. And here's how I'd like to do it. So first off, so what's the call to action? It's like, Tom, I'm pretty comfy cozy. I mean, why the heck do I want to change this up? Okay, well, there's a certain thing going on here that I think is a catalyst for us to want to do something different. So who leads this journey? Who do you invite to come along after you've kind of got that team aligned? What happens next? How do you decide, like, okay, so when do I want to start? Or when do I want to start to amp it up? All right, and then that other line up there about the kingdom impact. How do you know? How do you know? Because we're talking about the kingdom. It's not so much the traditional financial company about, okay, my sales going up, my EBITDA going up, cash flow going up. I'm doing great. This is bigger than that. So how do you know? And then we'll summarize. So thing is you're not going to hear me talk the whole time. So y'all ready to participate in this? Yes. It's cool stuff. All right. So first, the call to action. So the first one there talks about values, and it says, gosh, for me, this is my perspective. For me, so the companies I interact with, the people that I talk to, this is what I'm seeing. I'm seeing this erosion of value. So I'm blessed to mentor from MBA students to executives at companies, and I start out with two things. First one is, what do you want from this relationship? Because they kind of said, hey, let's get together. Cool. So what do you want? Next thing I say, so tell me about your values. In terms of the MBA students, I'm batting 1,000. They say something like, "Ooh, I've never been asked that before." Huh? That's a really good question. The executives normally have some inner core. They may not be able to articulate it, but they have some inner core. They know there's something that is right and wrong, and so that is kind of their inner light. But in terms of identifying and defining, that also I'm finding is a challenge. So there's an erosion of these fundamental values, and especially with our younger generation is what I'm seeing. I'm going to touch more on what a person said about that. The next one, there's the inactivity of faith. So I am fortunate to speak a couple times a year at a large Catholic university. And as part of that, you get in there and everyone comes in and you're kind of checking out the room. I'm looking around and there is no crucifix, Catholic University. I said, hey, so where's the crucifix? I said, well, we don't want to offend anybody. The prevalence of artificial stimulus. I mean, we all know about drugs, alcohol, fentanyl is a really big deal. Huge, huge deal. And then there's social media. Social media. We heard Don talk about how getting sucked into things like Instagram. Holy schmoly. I mean, that's scrolling up. Yeah, so, and what these things do for me is, first off, alcohol and drugs, they're like numbing devices, okay? And Instagram just takes me out of relationship because I'm like sucked into here. And so here we have these things that take us out of relationship. And this last one, the substitute of drama for dialogue, is one below, but it's kind of related to the top four. This substitute of drama for dialogue is kind of like, for me, people will take a position versus taking a perspective. People will pass judgment versus being curious. Okay, and so when that happens, for me, I'm somewhere on this triangle of victim, villain, hero. Victim, villain, hero. And I joke about this, but it's true. I'm a recovering hero. Okay, I love to jump in and save the day. When I do that, I hold people small. I hold people small. People are creative, resourceful, and whole. Okay? When I'm stepping in, here, this is how this works. Let me show you how this works. Keep the ball in their court. So this drama, again, keeps us out of relationship. It's all about me. It's all about the position. So the opportunity we heard today, we heard Ryan Dickinson talking about ministry from business. How powerful is that? We get them at least 8 hours a day, at least 5 days a week. Holy cow. No one else has that exposure. So let me see. How many in here are owners or CEOs? Raise your hand, please. Oh, my gosh. And how many supervise folks? Yeah. Yeah, so think about the opportunity. Think about the opportunity you have to lead these folks to Christ. It's remarkable. Absolutely remarkable. So here we are. We're back to the 4 sticks. I threaten you with this, okay? So now, there are these 3x5 cards. There's a pack of 3x5 cards in the middle of your table. There also are some pins that weren't randomly thrown there, but they look it. So what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to grab one of those 3x5s, pull just one off, and duplicate this graph. So you're going to draw something really kind of cheesy that looks like this. Okay? You're going to draw something that looks like this. All right? And I'm going to ask you, you notice there's a big honking dot on each one of the sticks. On each one of the sticks. Now, the one I have here, they're all the same level. That's just, I just didn't want to send any messages as to what's the correct order. Okay, but, so you're going to draw this, and I want you to draw it big. Just like, see how this one kind of fills the whole 3x5er? Okay, I want you to draw it big like that. Draw it big like that. You're going to draw the 4 sticks, and you're going to draw big dots on each of the sticks. What do the dots represent? I want the first stick, this first stick here, your dot is you. Is you. The top of that stick is a 10. The bottom of the stick is a 1. You want to be 10. You want to be higher versus lower. 1 means there's a heck of an opportunity for you. 10 means you're nailing it, okay? As a Christian business leader. Christian business leader, again, deep in faith and also very strong business acumen. Okay? So the first dot represents you. The next dot, scale of 1 to 10, where do you think your team is? Okay? You're not going to put your name on these. All right? You're not going to write your company name and that kind of stuff. Okay, the third dot is where you believe your processes and structures are on the third stick. And then that fourth one, the kingdom success. So not so much about how your company is doing. I don't want to minimize that at all. But it's how are you affecting families of your employees? How are you affecting the community? How are you giving back? Okay, so it's holistic. So I want you to put a dot on each one of those lines. So you're going to draw it, put a dot on each one of those lines. Don't write your name on them or your company name. Okay? All right. So now what I'd like you to do is to pass them to this gentleman. Okay, you at that table. Pass to this gentleman, you at that table. Pass to this lady here. 2 of you pass to her. 2 of you pass to him. And would you pass to this gentleman there? And I'm going to ask you to walk up with your stack of stickies and stick them on the easel. So you're just going to walk up, you're going to have, like some of you have a pack of 4, you're just going to go. Just going to, come on up. Grab them and stick. Stick them, please. Yes, yes. Just stick them up there, yeah. Now, the thing is you can't put them all the way at the top because they won't stick. Yeah, this is what we finally call the no-fly zone. Yeah. See, that's kind of a trick, yeah. So they got to go below the green line. Got to go below the green line. Okay, great. Yeah, perfect. Thank you. All right. Where am I from? Ohio. Yes. All right. Thank you very much for getting up here and posting those. So we're gonna come back to these. So again, this right here represents kind of life at your company as you know it. So now we're going to talk about the first stick. Again, that first stick is you all, okay? Me. And so the spirit of this stick is that the rest of those sticks will not climb any higher than you. John Maxwell wrote a book called The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. One of those he spoke about was the law of the lid. What he said is that your organization will not outclimb you. So what you want to do is keep climbing. Don't become stagnant yourself. So the key thing for this Christian business leader is their values. Okay, back to I said that values are eroding. So one of the things is the values of the company reflect your values. Your values. That's kind of a cool thing. That's a responsibility that you all have. Okay, so when you carry those babies in, chances are the company is going to embrace those. So here are my Christian values. Okay, they happen to be the same as the company when I retired in 2019. Those were the same that the company had. So we got curiosity, clarity, grit, grace, gratitude, and love. Curiosity, you can see there, has to do with learning. Has to do with that first stick. Me keep climbing so I don't become the lid. And then there's clarity, clear in your yeses and nos. Anyone here pretty quick to say yes? Yeah, right. Anyone get in an integrity trap as a result of that? Means basically you made a promise you can't keep. You guys are really good at this, man. I got to tell you. I get into a sticky chocolate mess on a regular basis, okay? So it's the clarity on the yeses and the nos. The grit is that daily discipline to get back on the path. For me, it's about recovery. I am a sinner. I'm going to sin. How long does it take for me to step back on the path, to get back on the path, to ask for forgiveness and get back? What did I learn? What am I going to do different? Grace, gratitude, and love. Grace is about really talking about giving grace to myself and others. Anyone here have negative self-talk? Yeah, I was going to say, if I don't get a bunch of hands on this one, yeah. So I'll come back to that. Okay, so grace with self and others, and the gratitude. Just give me the daily bread. I don't want any more. I don't want less. Just give me my daily bread. And then here we go with love. This is to see myself and others as Christ sees us. See myself and others as Christ sees us. Whew. Wow. When I can do that, man, that is just a wonderful day because I'm like Captain Judgment. Okay, I'm really quick to make assumptions and too many times they're just not accurate. Okay, so now I'm going to come back up to the grace. So I used to be a champ at beating myself up. I mean, really, I probably should be in prison for the way I beat myself up. I thought it made me stronger. Holding the bar high, you know. Got to have the high standards. I'm the first stick. Can't be weak. Got to keep beating myself up. As I started my faith journey, what I realized, right, anyone ever heard we're all children of God? Yeah. Okay, so God made me, God made all of us. I'm passing judgment on what God made? Who the heck do I think I am? No kidding. Who the heck do I think I am? The next one was that negative self-talk that's going around in my head. Who do you think is stimulating that talk? Satan. You bet. It's not Christ. Satan wants that talk to happen. That scared the living daylights out of me. It did. It scared me. I'm like, oh my gosh. So, see myself as Christ sees me. We're going to come back to that. So here are these values. So now you get to participate again. Everyone stand up. So where are you in your Christian values? So, again, 10, you're going to use your right arm. A 10 is right at the ceiling. Okay, so a 10 in your Christian values means that you know what they are. Okay, you've defined them. And every day you're like driving around the block. Okay, maybe certain days you get kind of lost, but you're driving them around the block. I mean, you bring them to life every single day. A 1 is Doesn't mean you're the Antichrist, okay? It just means that, no, I really, no, I haven't really thought about it much. So that's a 1. Obviously, there's everything in the middle. 10, 1, okay? So you're going to maybe 5, 6, 4, okay? So I'm going to ask this question, but what I'm going to ask you to do is to close your eyes. Okay, so ready? So you're going to close your eyes, and then with your right arm, you're going to indicate where you are in your Christian values. Okay? You're ready. So close your eyes with your right arm, scale of 1 to 10. Stick your right arm out where you are in terms of your Christian values, living into your Christian values. Okay? Great. Now, leave your arms out there. Leave your arms. Okay, now, with your arms still out there, open your eyes and look around. Open your eyes and look around. Okay? Leave them there. So what do you see? Room for improvement. You bet. Humility. Yeah. Okay, you can put your arms down now. Thank you very much for doing that. Sit down, please. Okay, so room for improvement. Room for improvement. How would your life be different if all you did is went from a 5 to a 6 in your Christian values? All you did went from a 5 to a 6. How would your life be different? Being a math guy, I love that, man. It's like ding, 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 ding. So, okay, so we got that. How else might it be different? Besides the mathematical, which is spot on, how else might it be different? Yes, sir. Motives would be changing. Give me an example, please.
If we examine everything we do every day, even while we're here, I don't need that guy because I might be able to do business with him.
Uh-huh.
I don't need that guy because I can do business.
Okay.
Those are two different motives.
Yes, right. So one is all about the transaction and business, and the other is about helping.
And that one is selfish, and this one's not.
Okay. So if you were able to go up a notch, you might switch from basically the selfish to the selfless.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, sorry.
That was a hard question.
So to make that climb, who does that? Who takes you from a 5 to a 6, or a 6 to a 7, or a 4 to a 5? Who does that? Jesus. Who else? Me. Yeah, you got to step into the arena. And we heard again talking about, Jesus may present a bike to you, but he's expecting you to ride it. He may give you a sailboat, but he wants you to get out there and raise the sail. So it really starts with the willingness of us to ask for help, to ask for Jesus to take us up there. So, who do you invite to come along? So now we've popped off that first stick. Now we're into the second stick. This is Jack Welch. The first time that I saw it, gosh, probably 30, 40 years ago. I'm 67. It's hard to believe, but it's a long time ago. This 4 square. And basically it's saying the values are on the vertical axis, the results or the impact is on the horizontal. Those that are in the northern hemisphere are strong in the values. Those that are on that hemisphere, the right section of that, they're strong in the execution. Okay, so you sit there and you think, well, gosh, so these folks up at the top, they're modeling the values, they're a stand for the journey. Top left, this guy's in kind of a learning mode, the impact's kind of inconsistent. Top right, holy cow, he models, he's a stand, he's consistent, hitting those targets, carrying that kingdom. Bottom left, the values are really for show to this person. They're not on the journey. Anything that goes wrong is kind of victimhood. Remember the triangle, victim, villain, hero? Okay, victim. Gosh darn, I called the customer. He just didn't pick up the phone. What was I to do? I was going to go over there. Inconsistent on the impact, and then bottom right. This person's hitting the targets. Values are for show, and a lot of hero and a lot of villain. Villain is the hero. Kind of sounds something like this. Yeah, man, we wouldn't have made the month if it weren't for me. Yeah, gather around. I mean, seriously, you guys got to learn how I do this. The values, I'll check into those when I got time. Right now, I got to go out and execute. Okay? So, I mean, really, this is pretty easy. You want the top right and you want the bottom left. I mean, the bottom left folks, they can't stay on the journey. As I say that, please understand, again, on this company for Christ, you have gone to this person and you've invited them to come along. It's not cold and ruthless like I would say I was for probably 35 years of my journey in business. No. This is you've invited them, and they're like, no, thanks anyway. No, not going to come. Appreciate it, but I'm not going to. Okay? So, you've invited them, and they're continuing with that behavior. They've got to go. They've got to go. But here's another perspective of this. So, first off is the double green arrow between the top two quadrants. Those folks that are top right, what do we want them to continue to do? What do we want them to continue to do? To grow. Absolutely right, because they're the first stick. We want them to continue to grow. So we will invite them back left. Back left is, remember, kind of that growth in the learning zone. Okay, back over there on the right, I can get kind of comfy cozy. I mean, I'm nailing my goals. This is pretty easy stuff. I know how to do this well. Where's my learning? Where's my learning? So you want to kind of invite them back. The bottom right, so I notice that I've taken that red as well. Those folks that are nailing their targets, and behind the scenes at the water cooler, whatever, they're saying, yeah, value, schmalue. Okay? That's not good. One of the guys that I mentor, number one salesperson, he's got 42 salespeople. Number one, bottom right. Took him out to dinner. Said, hey, look, you got to understand, I'm serious about these Christian family values, is what they call them. Christian family values. I'm serious about this. You got to get on board or you're going to have to leave. He says, okay, yeah, sure. Christian family values is what this company calls them. He said, okay, great, yeah, I got it, sure, fine. So in the morning, the same guy asks his supervisor, hey, let's go to breakfast. Takes him to breakfast. Guy says, I resign. Now see how you do. They didn't skip a beat. Guy left. People stepped in. Those that were on the journey. So I'm going to take us just a little bit deeper. So this is just a cheesy organization chart. That red rectangle is someone that doesn't support the values. So just think of your organization. You as the owner, CEO, okay, you have your lieutenants, your people on your team. Here, and this is the vice president of operations. He has 3 supervisors, or she has 3 supervisors. One of those is a red rectangle. One of those doesn't believe in the values. Who does that person reflect on? Who? The people below them. Yeah, so let's say the people below them came for the values. How long do you think they'll stay? Not long. Not long. Anyone here having trouble hiring talent? Yeah. Number one reason why people leave, their supervisor. Okay? So, definitely have a downward effect. Where else do they affect? The owner eventually, yeah. VP of operations, you bet. So if I'm the VP of operations and I'm saying, boy, these values, this is what I live, this is what I do, and I got someone on my team that is a red rectangle, what are those 2 greens that are this person's colleague thinking as to how serious I'm about those values? They're like, Tom's a poser. Really? Yeah. He's letting that guy stay when he should be out of here. Okay, I'm following those values. I'm on the journey. This guy here, holy cow, and yet he's still here. So this is key. And again, please, as I talk about these folks, you got to invite them out of your organization. This is after you have invited them to come along. So this isn't just you get up one morning and say, oh, Carmazzi's got to go. No, I've been talked to, I've been coached, whatever. Now I've consistently not modeled the values. So here's some challenges to this journey. People will push back because of fear. So anyone got folks just generally in your organization don't like change? Anybody got those folks? Yeah, right? It's just fundamental. I mean, folks don't like change. They like the comfort zone. It's comfy cozy here. I kind of do well here. So you will have this, and now you're inviting them on a faith journey. And for a lot of folks, it's like, nah, that's kind of squishy for me. Yeah, no, I'm going to stay here. Just let me do my job. Just let me do my job. So again, you're going to come, you're going to put your arm around them, and say, hey, look, man, this is the journey we're on. It's big time stuff. Big time stuff. Love to have you come. But if they keep standing here, even though you've come over here and been with them, you're going to move on. Remember, you're that first stick. If you stay there, you're the lid. Okay? Devil becomes more rigorous. Devil becomes more rigorous. For me, what this means is I get distracted. So here I am, I talk about eternity and the kingdom and all this stuff, and I'll get busier than the dickens. Is that for the eternity and the kingdom? No. I get distracted. I believe that's the devil. Another way the devil comes after me, puts doubt in my head. Like today. Tom, you know what? You're a retired guy. They don't listen to retired people. They listen to people that are in the arena. I mean, come on. What are you doing talking to them? Hey, also, from 12 to 16, I was a world-class stutterer. Stuttered. Okay? So, got this little black wolf on my shoulder, called the devil, that says, Tom, you're going to get in front of these people, they're going to start stuttering. It's going to happen. I wouldn't go in that room if I were you. Okay? So the devil will come after me in those ways. Weaponizing by those unwilling. My biggest do-over, I had a mentor for 20 years. This guy was remarkable. Seriously, top 25 in the world in the Toyota production system. Anyone ever heard of that? Toyota production system. It's a continuous improvement process used by Toyota. This guy was brilliant, but he saw process and not people. Kind of like me. We ran together really well for a while. So it came time to ask him to leave. No kidding, you got to go. And he said, Tom, grace and love, you're a hypocrite. If you had grace for me and you loved me, I'd still be here today. You're a hypocrite. I went, holy cow, holy cow. How many times have I talked to you about this? You look at me and you smile, you go back out and you do the same thing. Sorry, you got to go. And I'm doing this to hope that it awakens you. Hope that it awakens you, but I'm not changing my mind. You've got to go. This is no kidding. Yesterday, I got a text from this guy. I got a text from him. I get him about every quarter. It says, I continue to love you. Holy cow. Caretaking with the best of intentions. This is where, again, me as the recovering hero, someone that doesn't, kind of do as exactly as you want them to do. And what I used to do is I'd take the ball. Say, oh my gosh, you know what? I probably didn't explain this to you clearly. I probably didn't give you enough time. When I say that, who has taken the ball? Yeah, I've taken it. What happens to their learning? Exactly. It goes down. So the caretaking, with the best of intentions, you're actually holding them small. Remember, they're creative, resourceful, and whole. When I do that, boom, their growth stops. So what's next after the team? Okay, there's been books written about these top two circles, lots of books. Basically says as the culture and the company come together, good things happen. Firms of endearment was one of them. They said that a company really strong in culture, they will outperform the S&P 500 4-1. Okay. The other was conscious capitalism. Talked about how powerful it is when you can do this. At the end of my Bible study, where we didn't read the Bible, one of the things that he said is, I want you to think about some way you're going to carry this forward. This is what popped into my head. Okay? Christ, in addition to these two. This is what I've seen. Of course, these little definitions that are in these little 4 bullet points are kind of my perspective. But notice this overlap right there. That's where I think the kingdom really comes alive. And you notice it talks about spirited communities, astounding impact, ministry, back to you and your companies. You and your companies. So what's next after this? How do you do this? You guys could probably say this, all right? It starts with the values. You create those values and you deploy them. Then you come up with the holistic goals. Okay, then you update the process. You notice we're walking across the sticks. Right? We're walking across the sticks. And then mentor the executives. So why do we mentor the executives? Succession. Also keep climbing. Keep climbing. This is just a little cheesy. I'm not going to go into detail on this. I'm not going to bring any of these little guys up. What it's just showing you is that, so you start with that vision and mission and those values, and you got to deploy it all the way to traction. And you'll create the structures that's best for your company. We found that all these structures were developed in-house, because we knew our business, we knew our people, we knew what structures we wanted to create. And by the way, if we messed them up, we're right there to fix them. We can improve them because they were ours. And so what this does is just takes that upper level stuff and takes it all the way to traction, all the way, for us, we were a manufacturer, so all the way to that operator on the shop floor. So he or she knew how every day they could contribute. So how do you know? So these are examples of two companies that I've worked at to help them create their Christian values. All right? So this one right here is a manufacturer. I'm just going to focus on the green stuff. Selfless, curious, and honorable. When I work with a company on this, I do not give them a smorgasbord of values to choose. They create them. All I ask is have them be uncommon. Don't pick things like honesty, respect, integrity, because people will see those and they'll say, oh yeah, I know what that is. They keep right on walking. Selfless, like, that's kind of different. I don't see that very often. Say more. Honorable, So this is cool, Tom, but how they show up, it's kind of a feel-good stuff, isn't it? So at this company, the CEO was presenting to the board his incentive that he wanted for his team as a result of 2022. So he came to us at the beginning of 2023 and said, hey, here's the incentive for my team based on the good year they had in 2022. Let's pay them out. I said, okay, well, let's just slow down. How'd you do to plan? Well, we didn't have the year we wanted. Didn't hit plan. Customer service, lead times are out to 26 weeks. The market, we felt, required 4. Whew. So you're losing market share. Okay? Said, hey, look, we got these values, and honorable talks about accountability. How are you aligned with that? To this guy's credit, he said, yeah. These values are only about 12, 18 months old. So again, they're not ingrained yet, but they're there. He said, I'll come back. Came back in a week, and that was better aligned with the performance. So here's another company. Passion, Shepherd, Grace, Light. Don't you love light? I mean, light's going to, what the heck? What the heck is that? So the key is that these guys are created internally, and then they deploy them throughout. So here are quotes. So now we're well, how do you know it's taking traction? First one there, my life has changed, so has my friend group. So this is an executive that's like, Friday nights go out and have a couple beers with boys. Doesn't do that anymore. His friend group now is related to his church. This is not what I expected. I'm so glad we're doing this. This is the MBA student. Remember I said those MBA students are like values? This guy, when we started doing that, he's like, this is not what I expected, but man, I am so glad we're doing this. I was having a conversation with the guy that goes into church after he's dropped his children off, said some prayers, come walking out, one of his buddies says, what were you doing in there? I was having a conversation. That's pretty cool. I didn't do a very good job. So again, back to that beating yourself up. When this guy said this to me, I said, whoa. You've just brought these values out like 2 months ago. What'd you learn? What are you going to do different? What'd you learn? What are you going to do different? Avoid the negative self-talk, because that's not who you think's talking, really not the one talking. I'm not ready for this. So I've had a guy that I was coaching, mentoring for about 5-6 months. He said, no, I can't do this anymore. We were getting to areas he got very uncomfortable. Very uncomfortable. I said, okay, I'm not going anywhere. Just when you're ready to re-engage, call me. Saw him about 3 months ago. He said he's getting closer, but he's not there yet. It's okay. This is like, holy cow, what is this? So this is within the last 60 days, some quotes that I've received. So this is a guy that's talking about, I've been praying the last week for grace, and he's talking about his life and how it is. So you got, anyone have this end of month target, fall sports, busier than the Dickens? Anyone have that life? Yeah, right. Okay, so second paragraph says, this takes shape in all areas of my life, family, faith, and work. Having a strong, trusting faith is hard, and I mean hard. This guy's an athlete. He's really blessed there. When I started this journey, I assumed it would be like a sport, an obstacle course. Easy, I'll train a bit, execute, and win. Boy, was I wrong in thinking this way. Starting a lifelong journey to become closer to God and develop my faith has been the most rewarding choice I've made to date. You might think why I feel this way. I'm calmer, less stressed, present, and driven. Whew. Paragraph 3 says, many companies talk about their faith in the workplace, but we do it. And then he says, those who buy in are performing the best. And then being a hero, victim, villain, hero. Being a hero shows up a bunch, and he realized he was holding his team small. Here's his wife. Faith is the lifeblood of our family. So again, talk about kingdom impact. It's coming home now. So it's not only in the business, it's coming home. Okay? And so the last part there says, I can only imagine where it will take them. Another employee. The other day I was hanging out with a friend. The friend's a Christian, but he doesn't always act, speak, or think like one. Some days he's completely in line with God's word, and some days his life is a struggle that gets the best of him. As our eyes met, I really wanted to say something about it, but I decided to let the Lord speak to his heart, knowing nothing that I say will have the same impact as the Father's words. So I prayed with him, and after some time had passed, I nodded at him and walked away from the mirror. Whoa. Whoa. Yeah. I try every day and fail every day. I'm so not perfect. I'm a work in progress, and I'm thankful for God's grace and his promises to his believers. Anybody resonate with that last one? I sure as heck do. So you can tell I'm a real fan of 3x5 cards. So when I am blessed to facilitate at a company, at the end of each day, I check in. So what are your key takeaways? What are your key awarenesses from this day? So this company here has Christian family values. And so unsolicited, so tell me kind of your awarenesses from the day. 25% of those stickies, they reference Christian family values in a favorable light. They've been there for 18 months. They're referencing them unsolicited, favorably. This is really cool stuff. All right, so now you guys get to participate again. This is my second to last slide. All right? Ooh, this is great. Okay, I'm cheating up here. I got a little timer that tells me how I'm doing. Not to mention these guys got signs at the back of the room. So, yeah, you can't see, I can. All right, so one of the ways that I would ask folks for feedback, I'm going to walk through this slowly. I would ask folks for feedback about me. So twice a year we would give folks evaluations. And the folks I was giving evaluations of, they knew me better than my boss did. So I would ask them for feedback. And I'd say, what I want you to do is do a keep, stop, start on me. Tell me what I'm doing you want me to keep doing. Tell me what I'm not doing that you want me to start doing. And tell me what I'm doing you want me to stop doing. Just an easy little structure to get the dialogue going. So twice a year I would get this from my team. And I was very, very fortunate to get this feedback. So here I'm going to spin it on you a little bit. Okay? And that this isn't your supervisor, really, per the org chart, but this is your supervisor in life. It's saying if Jesus were sitting here today, completed a keep, stop, start on you, did it right now. He's sitting next to you, he's got his arm around you, kind of saying, hey, when I look back on what you've been doing so far in 2023, here's what you've been doing that I want you to keep doing. I love it. I want you to keep doing. Here are these things that you're not doing that I think you need to start doing. Would he say he wants you to keep doing, start doing, and stop doing? All right. Everybody ready? Yeah, I know the first time I did this, it was a whole different perspective for me. I mean, a whole different perspective. Okay. So those are for you. Those are for you. What was there for you when you did that? What was there for you when you did that?
I don't understand the question.
Okay. Okay. So the spirit of it was to get feedback from Jesus on to how you're doing. So who else? Who else? Yes, sir. Provide an objective opinion versus your own. Yeah, provide an objective opinion. And for me, it was like, whoa, this guy knows me pretty well. Yeah. 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 So when I did this, again, I journal every day. I get these devotions. And one of the things that I journal is messages. What message did I receive today? Because God doesn't talk to me directly. He sends me little stuff. And so when I did this, I wrote, God said to me, Jesus said to me, stop playing small. Ooh. When I shared this with the folks that I was with, what I said was, God said to me, stop praying small. Whoa, no accident. No accident. Yeah, and I'm like, holy cow. Because I know my prayers. They're pretty mechanical. I'm in elementary school, right? So it's like checking the box. You know, and so for me, that just really, really, really resonated. So why do you think I did this with you all just now? Why do you think I did this? So this is a different question than what's here for you. This is, why do you think I chose to do this? Of all the things that I could do, second to last slide, why did I choose this one? Yes, sir.
You're self-aware that we're all self-deceived, so how can you change the baseline?
Yeah, so development starts with self-awareness. You bet. Development starts with self-aware.
And you recognize that we never end that journey.
We never end that journey. That's right. That's right. Yeah, one of my mentors said, you know, Tom, you see this field and you're like, man, I got to get to the end of the field. And you get to the end of the field and what do you see? Another field. Like, never ends. The reason that I wanted to do this is to demonstrate how easy it is to bring Christ into your processes. This cheesy little thing. And if you're like me, remember I talked about how the devil comes after me with doubt. He's like, man, if you're going to do something like this, you better talk to an attorney first. Yeah. You got to make sure it's in the job descriptions. You got to make sure, it's like, stop it. Stop it. This is how easy it can be. How easy it can be. So, last slide. This is my summary slide. Begin with the Christian model. The Christian values and behaviors. Breathed into that Christian model before the business model. A lot of companies out there, and again, you guys that are for profit, you're in competition. You're in competition. They can get the same consultants that you can get. But you can bring in Christ. That's a huge competitive advantage. I mean, seriously, the two companies that I'm messing with, it's a big deal. It's a big deal. So FCCI, you got Ryan Dickinson over on the other side of this wall, talking about the 5 stages that FCCI offers to folks like yourselves. The first stage is really that first stick. Okay, how do you continue to climb? What is your calling? And then it takes all the way through breathing this into your company, and then that last stage is really, so how do you multiply? How do you now carry it out and multiply? How do you become, in essence, that mentor? Okay, this is hardwired to this. When you start or expand, it's up to you. You guys are the first stick. You get to make the call. You get to make the call. And this isn't in any way saying you're all sitting on your hands. I know that's not the case. I know that's not the case. But it all starts with you. Please do not discount you are the first stick. It's a wonderful responsibility. It's a wonderful responsibility. Billie Jean King said that pressure is a privilege. Pressure is a privilege. Kind of like responsibility is a privilege. And then investment, willing to leap with you. So one of the things that I didn't share with you starting out is, so when I retired to give back gifts. Okay, I believe that I was given gifts in my 43 years in business, and they weren't for me. They were to give back. They were to give back, and so, as much as I thought they're really cool to have them, it's like, well, Tom, they're not yours. Okay, so go out and give them back. So that's what I've been doing, and I've been doing this pro bono. So I don't take money. Go out and hang out with these folks and talk to them about how they're going to deploy this all the way to traction and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, so as I've been getting closer and closer to FCCI, I'm on the board. One of the things that we've talked about is, okay, so Tom, let's say you go out and some of you folks say, hey, Tom, why don't you come on out and we'll talk about it. Great. That's the way it starts, literally. I just come out and we talk. Okay, there's no funds here. Okay, what I say is, what I want you to do is that, like you have me come out and we talk about the values and working with your team and creating those. And at the end of that first day, I'll check in. So how'd that go? You say, Tom, that was a train wreck. Well, then I can get on the plane or my car and drive out of there, and there's no money at all right? It's like, oh my gosh, that didn't go well. Let's say they're like, this is really cool. This is something much more powerful than I was expecting. Great. All I ask is that there will be something given to FCCI as a donation. I don't want the money. Give it to FCCI so they can continue the journey, continue this companies for Christ. And you all, many of you in here have dealt with consultants before. And, they can charge a lot. So it's not like you got to give $1 zillion. But based on the value that you're seeing, what I would love is for you to give a donation to FCCI. So we're willing to take that leap with you. And I'm willing to say, gosh, if you say, seriously, I'm not kidding. If you say it's a sticky chocolate mess, this is like, we'll shake hands and maybe say a prayer and we'll part, Same token. So that's it. That's my best stuff. Since I retired, I don't have a business card or any of that kind of stuff, so sorry. Be more than glad to write my name and email on one of those 3x5ers. But that's my email address. And again, thank you so much for your time and patience. It's truly been an honor and a blessing to be with you here this morning. So thank you very much. Thank you.